How many session tracking methods are there? What is the first one? Second one? Third one? HTTP session. Fourth one? Hidden form fields. Yes, press. Is it over? See, how many session tracking methods? 4. What is the first one? Cookies. Second one? URL rewriting. Third one? HTTP sessions. Fourth one? Hidden form fields. HTTP sessions can we implement independently? Can we implement? No. Here we required with cookies or with URL rewriting. HTTP sessions you cannot implement independently. It is depending on one more session tracking method with cookies or URL rewriting. Any one required. That is total session tracking methods. First one completed, second one completed. Third one is going on. See, yesterday just session HTTP session interface methods we printed. Now cookie program you studied. This diagram you have seen. See, first program, this is you have seen. First program, these items, these books, we added to cart in client system. Again, we retrieved. This is one type you have seen. Second one, we didn't send to browser with this URL. These books are added to URL. With this URL only I transferred. Like that you have seen. Now, third session tracking method, sessions. These books are created in server memory only. Here only created. Here only created. And with this created, with this retrieved. Now, no client. Now, client memory not there. No client. No client memory. Stored in server, retrieved from server. That is third session tracking. Now you observe, this is first session tracking method, cookies. These books we added to client system memory. Again, we retrieved from client system memory. This is first program you have seen, that is cookie. Second program is these books we are adding to URL. With this URL, we are getting the data. That is second session tracking program. Third session tracking, these all stored in server only. server only. These all will add here. Okay. These all will retrieve. Now, this data where we are storing in server. From server, we are retrieving. That is third session tracking method. Okay. Now, storing into server memory. For that, you observe. File, new, dynamic web project, something session 2. Next, or just a session. That is yesterday session 1. Okay, session. Now, session, generate XML, finish. Now, next, same program, new, HTML, books.html. Next, finish. Whatever you have seen books.html in key program or any one program, same program. As it is, I'll copy. This is only I'll copy. I'll paste. 1 minute. This is totally I'll copy. Session src main web books.html. No. Here you observe HTML, body, Java books. These all everything as it is. I'm not going to change single character also. You observe everything as it is. Okay. Whenever submit button is clicked, set. Like there I'll write set session. You have seen set cookie, get cookie. Next set URL, get URL. Now set session, get session. Same style I'll find continue. Okay. Same books, same values, everything same. One character also I didn't change. Okay. It is HTML. It is HTML program. Next. Right click, new, solid. Now package name, suppose session. Class name, set session. Now next. Here, set. Okay. Next. Now which type of request coming? Get. Then do get. Finish. Here. First of all, we have to retrieve from client system. How to retrieve from client system? String s1 equal to request dot get parameter. Parameter name book 1. Same program. Okay. String s2 equal to request dot get parameter. Next, book 2. Same. String s3 equal to request dot get parameter. Book 3. Now session tracking method only I'm changing. Remaining program same. Okay. Now after getting this data, now where we have to store? Server memory. For that HTTP session reference required. How to get HTTP session reference? Yesterday you studied, no? HTTP session HS equal to request dot get session. Okay. But here get session one more method also is there. I'll explain. And even some concepts not completed. In a forwarding including, we are writing slash. Redirecting, we are not writing slash. What's the difference? Not completed. In web.xml, load on startup tag, welcome files not completed. Mappings, 3 types of mapping will be there. That is not completed. I have to explain all. After completion of this session tracking methods, remaining all I will explain. Okay. Now, here get session. You will get a session reference. After getting this one, these all books you have to pass to session variable. Now, here what you can do, if it is not equal to null, you can add. But if you add also, like it is not like a cookie type, cookie array coming. That's what selected items only comes. But here not possible like that. That is the reason here you can check, there you can check. Instead of checking 2 times, here I won't check directly, I'll add. There only I'll check. Okay. HTTP session, HS equal to request.get session. Now directly I'll add these books. Now HS dot set attribute method is there. You see, yesterday given set attribute. How many parameters are there? 2 parameters are there. First parameter, which type? String type. Same name, I'll write book 1. It is string. Second parameter, which type? Which type? Object type. Can I pass S1? But actually, which type it takes? Object type. But S1, which type? String type. But how it is valid? String itself object, that's the reason valid. What is that? Upcasting. String is a subclass. Employee is a object is a superclass. Upcasting. Suppose object is there. Can I pass employee class? Employee extends object. Any class you can pass. Upcasting concept this is. Now, set attribute second parameter, what is there? Second parameter, object class. You see, not string, object class. Cookie class constructor second parameter string is there. But session object is there. Any type of data we can pass. Any type of data. Cookie supports text only. URL writing support text only. But this is object type. Any type of data. Employee object, student object also you can pass. Now see here. Here parameter is object class. Here parameter is object class. Object class. I passed S1. S1 is the reference of which class? String class. String. String is a subclass of which class? It is upcasting, no? It is upcasting. With upcasting feature, it is valid. So, string class object or string class reference if you assign to superclass, object class, that is upcasting. Here, subclass object or subclass reference to superclass. Here, actual parameter object, but I am passing string reference. That's what upcasting, it is valid. Same style, HS dot set attribute. Second book. Here, S2. HS dot set attribute. Book 3. Here, S3. There, cookie, what we did is, cookie constructor we used. Cookie constructor. Cookie C equal to new cookie we written. Cookie C equal to new cookie. 2 parameters. String, string. Both are string. Later we call add cookie method. Later we call add cookie. But here, it is set attribute directly added. With the HTTP session reference only I am calling. Here, it is interface. That's what no constructor. Directly method is there. Okay. Now, whatever we retrieved from HTML page, those all added to server memory. Now, after this, you can display message. Print writer. PW equal to response dot get writer. PW dot println. HTML body BG color. Center, whatever you want, you can write. After this, level 1 heading. Your books are added to cart. Level 1 heading close. Okay. Same code. I'm not changing. You observe as it is. Println. Next hyperlink required. No? Anchor tag. Hyperlink reference. Get. Next hyperlink. Same. Already 3 programs you have seen. 2 programs. Third program this is. Same style. Now. After this. pw.println. Center close. HTML body close. HTML close. That's it. Now, from HTML page retrieved, add it to server memory. Okay. Now your books are added to cart. Next hyperlink. If we click get, next solid, get session. There also what I given, set cookie, get cookie. Next program what I given, set URL, get URL. This program, set session, get session. Okay. Now, this is one program, but this hyperlink, if we click hyperlink, next hyperlink, if we click get nothing but one more program. Right click, new, solid. Here, session, get session. Next. Do get, finish. Say here, same program storing these books in a client system. First program I explained. Second program, these books added to URL. Third program I'm storing in server. That is only different. Remaining all same. Only session tracking method only different. Okay. Now, here we have to retrieve from server memory. For that, again session required. How to get HTTP session HS equal to request dot get session. Now HS. Okay. HTTP session HS equal to request dot get session. After this, with this, you studied set attribute method. Now get attribute method. Get attribute method return type. What is there? See, return type object. Suppose object O. What we have to write? HS dot get attribute. Attribute name book 1. Now get attribute book 1. Now get attribute, actually what it returns? Object. Object assigned to object. Suppose I'll write string. Now actually what it returns? Object. Object assigned to string. Is it valid? No, because it is downcasting. See, if I ask valid or not valid, here already red letter appears. No. See, in this line also you can give answer. That's what in core Java I didn't use Eclipse. Now valid or not valid means, see in that line you can give answer. No, it is not valid. Okay. So that's what core, these are core Java concepts. Core Java more interaction required. Advanced Java nothing. What is there? Advanced Java everyday library only. Creating object, calling method. That's it. Core Java more logical part will be there. Now here get attribute method, what it returns? Object. Object assigned to which class? Is it upcasting or downcasting? Downcasting. When downcasting valid? If there is an upcasting. Upcasting already completed. No. Now, and as well as one more rule, explicit type conversion required. Otherwise not valid. We have to convert into string. Now valid. If I don't write that one, error. You observe. It returns object class object. Object class object. Myself I am converting into string because it is downcasting. Downcasting must be done by programmer explicitly. Super class object, if you convert into subclass, then explicit conversion required. So converted explicitly. Next, same style, string s2 equal to string hs dot get attribute book 2 string s3 equal to string hs dot get attribute book 3. Okay. Now here object format placed. Now here if it is selected book is there, null will selected book is there. Here one string object created, in that object book value will be there. If it is not selected, null comes like a object literal format because parameter is object. Object literal format comes. It is not created as string object. If not selected, null comes. Now that means like this. S1. If selected, hash code will be there. It refers one object. If it is selected like this. Not selected, suppose S2. Here only null will be there. Here null is there or not, null is there or not, null is there. How to check? Equals method or equals operator. Here operator. Here and here if you want to check operator. Here if you want to check method. So you have to check with operator. Now if S1 not equal to null, display. Same style, if S2 not equal to null, you can display. Okay. If S3 not equal to null, you can display. But if you want to display first print writer equal, print writer pw equal to response dot get writer. Here you can add pw dot println html body bg color text pw dot println level 1 heading underline text selected books. After this, here pw dot println s1. After printing, next line. Same style. pw dot println s2. S3 line break. Same program, session tracking method only changed. pw dot println center close body close. Center not there, I think. Center I didn't write. Body close, HTML close. You observe. Now session tracking method only I changed. Session tracking method only I changed. Now it is stored in server, retrieved from server. See, right click, run on server. Get session.java save, set session.java books.html. Any mistake happened? Now here books.html. Okay. Now select the books. Click submit button. Your books are added to cart. Next. Selected books. Program output same. Session tracking method only changed. In all the cases, that is only changed. Same program I continued third time. Cookies program I given same. And URL writing I given same. And third one, HTTP session with cookies also I given same. Session tracking method I changed. In first session tracking method, these books are where it is stored. Client side in browser memory cookie variables. Okay. Second session tracking method URL writing where it is stored. Appended to URL only. Appended to URL only. See, it is server. It is client. First session tracking method, whenever you select the books passed, again it comes here. It is stored here only. Here only stored. Okay. That is first session tracking method. Second session tracking method, client to server will pass. Again, here one solid is there. Next solid is there. Next solid is there. Here from with this URL only it is passed. With this URL it is passed. With this URL it is passed. With URL you have to transfer. Always. That is second. Third session tracking method, server side, here stored. Now, these programs, books.html, one character also I didn't change as it is. Set session.java. No done. Set session.java. Already heading you written cookies. HTTP session with cookies. That example only. Otherwise, you write again heading. HTTP sessions with cookies. Yesterday, in between, one more program I given, no? Yeah. That's what you write separate like this. Heading write again. Theory part already given notes. Try this one. HTTP sessions with cookies example. HTTP sessions with cookies example. In that set session.java. Get parameter method is there, but set parameter method not there, no? It is retrieving from HTML. This is many times you have seen. From HTML page retrieved, later added to server variable. Here set attribute, there get attribute. These get parameters many times you have seen from HTML page. Those are request parameters. First, these three from where it is retrieved? HTML page. These three stored in server memory. Set attribute, get attribute. Set attribute means stored in server. Get attribute means from server. Retrieving. But here array is not there. That is the reason we have to call set attribute, get attribute separate. There get cookies. All selected only comes. That's what no need to check there. But here checking required 2 times. Instead of checking 2 times, 1 time I'm checking. Here directly I'm adding. Session tracking method only changed. Remaining code is all as it is. I given you observe. When you click on next hyperlink, get session program is going to be executed. That URL pattern get. Is it over? Is it completed, all students? Not completed. These all stored in server variables, server session variables. Okay. Completed. Now see, in first session tracking method, see, in all the places retrieving from HTML page is same. These books, whatever we selected, we stored in cookie variable. Again, we retrieved from cookie variable. This is first session tracking method. Second session tracking method, not this one, not this one. These books, what I did, added to URL. With the next hyperlink only URL will get. With that only attached all. Those all I retrieved, I displayed. Appended to URL. From URL I extracted. That is second session tracking method. Third session tracking method. No, this will not be there. This will not be there. These books I stored here only. Server system memory only. Here only stored. Now this is set attribute method. Retrieving from server. Get attribute method. Set attribute. Get attribute. Same program. Session tracking method only changed. Okay. Now this is set session. This get session. Right, this one. Get session dot Java. Get session dot Java. So get attribute book 1 value comes, but object format comes. We have to convert into string format because it is downcasting object to string. Then assign. Completed. Is it over? In this program, session ID created or not? Created. Get session method I call no, then only created. I'll give notes. Is it over? No done. In the above example, session ID created and pass it to client system. Whenever get session method is called. Method of HTTP session is called. In the above example, session ID created and passed to client system whenever get session method of HTTP session is called. Is it over? You observe this program. Again, I'll run on server. Books.html. Your books are added to cart. Next, we got a books. Just you observe up to here. I'll remove. Up to here, I'll remove. Then Tomcat homepage. Okay. One minute. Okay, I'll show you sessions. Further, I'll show you next method I'll explain. Later I'll explain. Here, HTTP sessions with URL rating. Here directly displayed. There also it will be stored somewhere. I'll show you. There also created session, created ID, but ID we can see that ID. I'll show you. But here directly displayed in the address bar. URL rewriting. Next one, HTTP sessions with URL rewriting. Next session tracking method, HTTP sessions with URL rewriting. In this session tracking method, client state information stored at server side in the session tracking method, client state information stored at server side. In session variables. So HTTP sessions with URL rating. Client state information, same place it is stored, but ID. In this session tracking method, session ID created by web container and appended to URL to recognize the client. Session ID purpose, session ID concept only changed. Books are stored in server only, but ID appended to URL. But in previous program, ID stored in cookie. Cookie also we can open, we can see cookie. That is, I'll show you. So HTTP sessions with URL rewriting. In this session tracking method, client state information stored at server side in session variables. That means previous program, this program same. But in this session tracking method, session ID created by web container appended to URL to recognize the client. But in previous program, stored in cookie variable. But this program, URL rewriting. Say, previous program also session, if you want to see, you can see with cookie variable also. run on server. Books.html, selected books. Next. Now, where is session ID with the year also you can see, no? But one more option is there that I'll show you later. Year, cookies and manage and delete set year, one cookie. You observe? See, session ID. But if anyone see this session ID also, nothing will happen. If they copy also, nothing will happen. This is for this browser only created. Okay. With that, they cannot log in. If you open in, suppose already in your mobile, one session created, same username, you copy here. But again, username password it last no from laptop or desktop. You already logged in one website, in Amazon website, some cart is there. You want to see from desktop. That ID, if you copy, it will not come. Again, you have to log in with username password only. So if anybody see this ID, nothing will happen. Okay. Now ID created, you have seen. Now another session tracking. Say HTTP sessions. Now this actually 4 session tracking methods. In this session tracking method, is it ID created? No, because your items in your system only. Why ID? That's what not required, not created. In this session tracking method, ID created. That is appended to URL, password to next solid. Again appended to URL, password to next solid. Again appended to URL, password to next solid. That way. That's what ID not required. But in this case, ID required. Because all people items in a one place only, server. But ID, to maintain ID, 2 ways. With cookies, with URL reading. In previous program, where it is stored, cookie variable. Now appended to URL. That is your learning. Now this program, previous program, only one line different. One line of code remaining same. Okay. Just one line. See. Now Java P, Java dot Jakarta dot solid dot HTTP dot HTTP solid response. This is only different. One method, just one method. Not done. It is used to append session ID with URL. It is used to append a session ID with URL. It is used to append a session ID with URL. It is used to append a session ID with URL. Here URL you have to pass. Here URL plus session ID comes. It is URL pattern. Of solid. Here URL pattern plus session ID comes. And session ID. Just URL pattern of solid you have to pass here. That ID comes here. ID appended, it will come. So just one method we have to call in the program, remaining same. Is it over? It is used to append a session ID with URL. URL we have to pass. Here URL plus session ID automatically comes. With just one method you have to call. It is solid HTTP solid response. Now HTTP solid response. See, first of all, here in this session tracking method, ID is not created because stored in your computer only. In this session tracking method, ID not created. It is passed one solid to another solid like that. In this session tracking method, ID created, but ID stored in cookie variable. Here ID appended to URL. This is later we'll see. Now, same program I'll modify. This program only little different. One line of code in set session. Remaining same. Here, where is URL pattern here? In this program, where is URL pattern? Line number 41. This is URL pattern. Okay. Now, what you do is remove this get. Remove that get before this line or previous line. Now, that method you have to call. That method, what is the method return type? String. Something, yes. That method in which interface? Then what you have to do? Response dot encode URL. Encode URL. Encode URL here. Encode URL, two methods are there. Capital letter method also is there. Small letter also is there. You observe. Response dot encode URL. See here. Capital URL method is there. Small URL method also is there. Any one we can use. Both are valid. Encode URL. Encode URL. Now response dot encode URL. URL pattern you have to write. What is the URL pattern? Get URL pattern you have to write. Okay. Now this S we have to write here. But S you should not write. S is a variable, no? Double quotes close plus again plus double quotes over. Now program is completed. Okay, one line. That is only difference. Now it is not stored in cookie variable. It is appended to URL. You observe. Right click. Run on server. Save. Here, books.html, select the books, click submit button. Your books are added to cart. Next. Now you observe in address bar. Previously not displayed, no? It is appended to URL. Okay. Now that program, this program, what's the difference? Session ID stored in cookie variable. Here session ID appended to URL. Now, if cookies are disabled, will it work? This one works. Okay. That's the difference is there. Now what you do is, this all instead of writing complete program, just that line code, you can write. Just from print writer, write it enough. You write. HTTP sessions with URL rating. Example. In the example, remaining code same. Set session.java. Set session.java. Now, here. Same as above. Remaining code also no need to write. Just the 2 lines you can write. Write this one. Same as above. Remaining code same. Only 2 lines. So this is the URL pattern. Now this S contains URL pattern of solid plus session ID. Both will be there. That is displayed in address bar. When you click next hyperlink, this is displayed. Then what is displayed? URL pattern displayed, session ID also displayed. That is your scene. Is it over? Post also you can write. It is not reference. Get by default displayed. This is you are writing displayed. Post also you can write. Now, this session tracking method, is it possible to implement independently? Yes or no? Yes. This session tracking method can be implemented independently. This session tracking method can be implemented independently. No, it is depending on either the cookies or URL rating. Now, you have seen this three. This note still I didn't give. This notes I didn't give. Only these 2 notes I given. In these three, which one is secure? HTTP session is secure. Okay. Now, if the data is confidential, which one you have to use? Compulsory, you have to select HTTP sessions only. Suppose data is not confidential. then also says you can use no. Data is not confidential. But third session tracking method, can I use or not? Yes, you can use. Okay. But why these not outdated? I'll explain. Okay. Now data is confidential. Then compulsory you have to use. No other option. Compulsory that only you have to write. Okay. But data is not confidential. Also you can use this one. No? Nothing will happen. Now why these not outdated? I'll explain. And one more thing. Here data size of the data limited. Here size of the data limited. But here no limit. And number of. Here string format only. Here string format only. Here any type. Take object class. Like class object also you can pass. Like everything here only better appears, no? But if the data is not confidential also you can use this one. But why these two not outdated? I'll explain. Can we implement this third session tracking method independently? No. Either cookies required or URL rating required. Either this or this required. In these two, which one is better? Why URL rating better? If cookies are disabled, cookies will not work. That's what which is better. That means it is compulsory requires either this or this. That's what it is not outdated. It is anyone required, no? URL rating we are using. Only HTTP session not possible. HTTP session depending on either cookies or URL rating. You are selecting URL rating because it is better. It always works. That's what this is not outdated. Why this is not outdated? I'll explain in tomorrow class. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see continuation. Online students, one by one I'll clarify your doubts. Venu. Set attribute, get attribute, it is going to be stored in server. To store in server, set attribute. To retrieve from server, get attribute. Line number 13. Which program line number 13? Preeti. Notes I'll share. Shubham. Hari. It will take still 1 month. Maximum. 20 days to 30 days. Google Classroom link, contact admin only. Madhu. online students, Harshit, get to what? Get is a URL pattern of Solid. If you call encode URL, what will be happen is for that session ID appended to URL. Or Dumne. What is your doubt? I didn't understand. Venu, URL pattern with cookies, what will happen? Stored in cookie variable. URL rating displayed directly in address bar. Himanshu. That is, you have to add OJDBC6_G.jar file in Tomcat lib folder. And even if it is connection in local variable, you will get a same error. There are two reasons. One is connection is not, that meaning connection is null, not established. Suppose by mistake connection con you written as a local variable, then also it doesn't work. And if you don't add jar file also, it doesn't work. HDP Mahesh, HDP sessions with URL rerating. These are notes. Difference between Solid dispatcher redirecting annotation. Actually, Solid request dispatcher for forwarding, including redirecting different. Annotation concept different. You should not compare also. Request dispatcher and redirecting you can compare, but annotation you should not compare. Request dispatcher nothing but forwarding, including redirecting. The difference is 7, 8 difference I given. Notes you check it. Milin. Error like cannot invoke Jakarta Solid configuration context because null. That screenshot mailed to my mail ID. I didn't understand. Monica, last example. This is last example. Bhuvaneshwar Rao. Assignments no one is doing. That's what I stopped to give. Cookies, Venu, cookies are not stored in address bar. Cookies are stored in browser memory. Through browser settings option, you have to open. Dumne. Request dispatcher redirecting 7, 8 differences I given. You see the notes first of all. Harshit, it is also an annotation. It is, if you don't want to display error messages, you can use that. Seven, 8 differences I given, again you are asking. You see the notes forwarding, including differences, forwarding, redirecting differences, that is only. Request dispatcher, nothing but that one only. Solid dispatcher, request dispatcher, that is only. No change. Parvesh Gupta. That is, you create your own user ID. Otherwise. Sandhya, yeah, I didn't update the notes. I didn't get a time. I'll update today night. Here, it can be do get or do post. If you write URL rating, it is displayed in address bar. Yeah, notes I didn't update. I didn't get a time. Definitely today night I'll update. We'll see continuation tomorrow. Any other doubts? Core Java assignments only, no one is doing. I given many assignments. My mail ID on notes, header and footer, every page is there. Header and footer, every page is there. Venkatesh.mansani@yahoo.com. Okay. We'll see continuation tomorrow. Any other doubts? No doubts? We'll see continuation tomorrow. Okay, assignment I'll share in Google Classroom.